postmodern retro gamer. What the hell is that? Nerdgrave, you made that up. Did I? Yeah, I kinda did, but it's a useful term to describe what I am as a gamer now. The types of games that I have fallen in love with over the last couple of years really fall into this category. Let's figure out what exactly this means and whether you are a postmodern retro gamer too. So what exactly is a postmodern retro gamer? Well, we're gonna have a little bit of a definition right here, which is gonna say a postmodern retro gamer is someone who appreciates more modern examples of retro-styled games, whether that is a sequel, such as Streets of Rage 4, which in my opinion is vastly superior to all of the original Streets of Rage games in virtually every possible way, or whether you look at something like a remake, for example, like the Trials of Mana game, where you're looking at a 3D version of a 2D game that's been remade with new combat and new quality of life features and things like that. Absolutely love when things like that happen in the gaming world, and those are the games that I love to play. Remakes, remasters, where they add quality of life improvements, where they add better graphics, where they add better controls. For example, with the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, which right now the game's kind of a mess. It launched in a mess. The intent of that game was to give better graphics and GTA 5 style controls, which over the last 10 years people have become very accustomed to those style of controls because they just never make a new game anymore. So they've brought back GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, GTA Vice City, and they've put different controls than those games originally came with to make them a little more understandable to a modern audience. And when companies do this, I absolutely love it. I've got a bunch of games here that I would say are better than the shoulders they're standing on. River City Girls, for example, I love a lot more than River City Ransom. Octopath Traveler, which is not a remake of any kind, but it's a reimagining of a genre. It's taking 2D RPGs and bringing them forward into the modern era with nice visuals and better controls, and but it hits all those nostalgia blocks. You've got something like Stardew Valley. There are hundreds of indie games out there that try to capture that 8 or 16-bit flavor while giving you modern controls, modern pacing, things of that nature that I absolutely love. And that's what it means to be a postmodern retro gamer. So what does postmodern really mean? Well, most people would say that retro games are primarily older games from the 8-bit, the 16-bit, cycle, coming into the 32-bit cycle with the PS1 and the N64. I tend to draw the line right after that as to what is really retro for me. So I feel like the PS2 and Xbox, original Xbox era, were the beginning of modern games. They were experimenting with some modern stuff with the 5th generation there with the PS1. There were some amazing titles on the PS1, amazing titles on the N64, but they still hadn't standardized what it means to be a modern game in terms of controls, in terms of layouts and things of that nature. And of course, graphics were very experimental in the early 3D days. So I feel like being a postmodern retro gamer is someone who enjoys playing games on PS2s or newer, PS3, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo GameCube. All of those are modern consoles in the sense that they have the look and feel of modern games today. They still may be older and more rudimentary, but they are more or less modern in style. So taking something like the cutoff there between the PS1 and the PS2, that's really where I draw the line. And I say, for me, playing something like DuckTales Remastered on the PS3 or the Wii U, for example, is a postmodern retro gamer experience. Being able to have a new, fresh look at an old game with nicer graphics and updated controls and the ability to save whenever you want, let's say, or fast forward or rewind a game, or have save states, or so many of the new modern conveniences that take an old game that was already excellent and make it better. And that's what I absolutely love. So I'm curious, how many of you out there would prefer to play, let's say, the new Destroy All Humans that came out this year, or was it late last year? It just came out for the Switch a few months ago. It came out for the Xbox like a year ago or something. But Destroy All Humans, fantastic game. It looks great. It feels wonderful to play. It feels like a modern game. Did it feel that way on the PS2? I mean, I think it felt modern back in the day on the PS2, but today I think if you went back to play it, it would feel a little bit janky. And now I feel like it is a supreme experience. And bringing these consoles forward, simply bringing these games forward to newer consoles, gives you the experience of being able to have all of your favorite things in one place. And I know a lot of my fellow YouTubers agree with this. Being able to play something like the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, hopefully those will come to the Switch eventually. They're talking about it. They're available on Steam and other platforms, but not yet on the Switch. But to be able to play those Pixel remasters is a convenient way, for better or worse, to be able to consume those games that are largely on various platforms and not necessarily the ones you want to play on. Now, the jury's out on whether the Pixel remasters are really the best versions of the games, especially with some of the later ones, although we have heard that they, after delaying the number 6, because they are working on some elements that may make it similar to the HD 2D look that we got in Octopath Traveler. So, I'm pretty excited for some of these improvements. There's such a pressure amongst us old guys. I'm in my 40s, and there's a pressure in the community out there with the older guys that you have to be a fan of retro games and play on original hardware, that you've got to break out that Sega Genesis and play Rocket Knight Adventures, or you've got to break out that original Nintendo to play Contra the original way. But you know what? I like modern reimaginings of these games. I like when they can keep the spirit, the soul of the game, but give me a modern experience. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Am I completely without taste and class here by preferring some of these more modern versions of games? Taking a look at Streets of Rage 4, that was and still is one of my favorite beat-em-ups of all time. That and River City Girls I absolutely love. When I go back on the Sega Genesis collection and try to play, say, Streets of Rage 2, it's good, it's fantastic, but it's not this good. Let me know down in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Am I a nutcase here, or are there more of you out there like me? Thanks so much, guys. Stay classy.